Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Week 3 edition of the Border NFL Gurus. As usual, I will be your host, your fearless commissioner, and supposedly one of the best fantasy teams in the league this year. But let's get into that. Week 3 provided us with, some actual decent games. We did have our usual stinker or blowout of the week, which we will get to as well. But yeah, so early in the season, it's really anybody's game. We had two undefeated teams last week. Will it stay the same? Well, hell, let's find out. Let's go ahead and start with Joe Buck Yourself versus Rays Finkles. Joe Buck Yourself was 2-0 going into this week, going up against Rays Finkles this week. And Joe Buck Yourself comes out with the victory, beating Rays Finkles 122-107. Rays Finkles led by Joe Buck Yourself led by Deshaun Watson. Will Fuller again, who is a late round gem, so to speak. And Jordan Howard finally had a nice day, picked himself up a touchdown, so he was a little quiet early part of the season. And another solid defensive outing for Joe Buck Yourself. Rays Finkles led by Sammy Watkins with 13, David Johnson 12. His defense didn't have a bad day either, but boy, David Johnson, it's been pretty disappointing, and the Cardinals have as a whole, I suppose. So no surprise there. But either way, Joe Buck Yourself picking up the win there, moving him to 3-0 atop the Rockstar division, but not first overall in the league, and we'll get to that. And that drops Rays Finkles down to 1-2, and he is currently sitting in the 8th spot. Good on you, bud. Moving over to Rogers Dodgers versus Billy Large. Rogers Dodgers, I would dare say the underdog going into this one, even though they both dropped their matchups last week. Billy's been known to put up some big points. Well, not this week. Rogers Dodgers picking up the win, 123-75. 75, yeah. Not good, Billy. And guess what? You're our blowout of the week. That's a 48-point drubbing that Travers just laid on you. And Rogers Dodgers, led by Aaron Rodgers, of course. He only had 24 points in Green Bay. There might be reason for concern in Green Bay. They got handled easily by Washington. Alex Collins had a nice day. Zeke, he was solid. J.J. Watt had a nice day with 14 points. And Jason Pierre-Paul also had a nice day with 11. Billy started Kirk Cousins, who had a rough day, as the Vikings did as a whole, as they got pumped by Buffalo. What the fuck is that all about? And Tyler Lockett, who has been really showing up for Billy, picked up 17 points, but that's probably going to come to an end because I believe Doug Baldwin is back this week. So, Billy's going to be between a rock and a hard place here. That defense is something terrible, I tell you. Combined, Billy put up 7, 9, 11, about 17 points over 6 guys. But, hey, it is what it is. Moves Rogers Dodgers up to 2-1 and puts them in 6th, and drops Billy down to 1-2 and leaves him in 9th. So not a typical start from what we see from Billy, but like I said, it's early. Moving over to Rosterbation and hanging with Hernandez. Rosterbation putting up some big points this week with a 144-124 win. Hanging with Hernandez, sitting in 1-2, but he's been scoring a lot of points. He's just running into some bad matchups, and Rosterbation going up to 2-1, and that puts him in the 3rd spot. Second in the Rockstar division, so definitely holding his own. Drew Brees' monster day obviously helped. He had 46.5 points. 39 years old, still running in those TDs. That a boy, Drew. Mike Evans almost had 20 points on that Monday nighter, and Christian McCaffrey also a nice day with 19.5. Hanging with Hernandez, led by Kamara, 19 points. Crowell with 17, who's been a pleasant surprise. and Earl Thomas picked up those 2 interceptions for a 14 and a half points. So Rosterbation picking up the W on that one. Moving over to Clug the Plug versus Suck My Ditka. Suck My Ditka putting up a $1.51. Boom. $1.72 last week, a $1.51 this week. Crazy. Teams on fire and making the right decisions when they really matter. Opting for Carlos Hyde in this one over James White. Sorry, Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis was in before. Flipped over to Carlos Hyde in that Thursday night game against the Jets. Carlos Hyde put up 22 points. One of the leading backs this week, if not the leading back. Nice showing. And Roethlisberger with 30, Gurley with 20 again, of course. And Clug the Plug led by Matt Stafford with 21. And he had a linebacker who put up 16. So not a bad day for him, but could not overcome Suck My Ditka. That moves Suck My Ditka to 3-0 and puts them in first in the league. Nice point totals, undefeated. So we remain with 2 undefeated teams, and that does drop Clug the Plug down to the 10th spot with a 1-2 mark. Hey, at least you're not in the basement. I mean, it could be worse, right? Let's get to that. Moving over to LOD versus the Iredell Beckham's LOD. I'm still going to stick with Stansford Legion of Doom. LOD picking up the win here. Reed out to a quick 2-1 start. 121 to 109. That moves Reed into the 4th spot, which I don't think he's ever been in the 4th spot. So good on you with that 2-1 mark, and drops the Iredell Beckhams to an 0-3 mark and 12th in the league. Got their work cut out for them. LOD led by Matt Ryan with that 50-point performance. Sick. And Iredell Beckham is led by Saquon Barkley and Kareem Hunt. That's a good running back tandem there, but he's got to find some more depth. Tom Brady's been disappointing. I mean, let's be honest. If Tom Brady had a normal game, Iredell Beckham's probably wins this one. But nonetheless, he did not have a normal game. And, yeah, Reed sits in 4th. So good on you, Reed. Looking good. Things are looking good. And our final game, the Panty Raiders versus Vic This. Panty Raiders taking this one quite easily, 133 to 99. And that moves them up into the 5th spot with that 2-1 mark, and drops Vic This down to 0-3, and they sit in the 11th spot. Panty Raiders with a critical loss in this game, losing Jimmy Garoppolo to that torn knee. Didn't look good. Obviously, he's done for the season. And but he was also led by Adrian Peterson, the old man, busting off big runs, punching in TDs. Vic This led by Mahomes. Again, another 3 touchdown performance. Kid's looking good, real good. But, yeah, other than that, neither one of them had much to write home about. Vic This, that running game with Lamar Miller and Chris Thompson. I wouldn't want to hang my hat on either one of those guys. Oh, but Julio Jones had 9 points. No touchdowns again. But I digress. It is what it is. So let's move over to our Jackass of the Week. This week, our Jackass of the Week is going to go to Panty Raiders. So, a couple hours after the Garoppolo injury, I get a trade request from the Panty Raiders. Lo and behold, they want Jared Goff. Understandable. What does he offer me? Mike Williams. Yeah, the 2nd string receiver from San Diego. Come on, bro. You think I'm going to make that trade? I don't need a receiver as bad as you need a quarterback, so you better be offering up your number 1 guy. Come on. Lo and behold, Keith, you're a Jackass of the Week. So anyway, moving into week 4, We do have some respectable matchups coming up here. Joe Buck Yourself versus Billy Large. Joe Buck Yourself, heavy favorite in that one, but anything can happen. Hanging with Hernandez against Clug the Plug. Should be able to pick up a win here, but time will tell. We got LOD versus Panty Raiders. That's 4 versus 5, and Panty Raiders is in quarterback trouble. So, yeah, they're both 2-1 teams. Race Finkel's taking on Vic This. Vic This needs a W, and they need it now. Rogers Dodgers versus Rosturbation. That should be a good one, and the projections are tight. 2.5 points. Rosterbation's the favorite. And Suck My Ditka taking on the Iredell Beckhams, and that is our 1 versus 12. And if they keep putting up the points the way they have been, Iredell Beckhams could be in for a bit of a drubbing. But either way, that is your Week 3 rundown. Week 4, looking good so far. Have a good Thursday nighter with the Vikes and the Rams. So tune into that one. But until next time, keep playing that wire. All hail the commish.